Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. We're sharing a key report from the Wall Street Journal titled "Big Rate Cut Forces Fed to Contend with New Obstacles." The subheading raises two critical questions: how big will the next cut be, and what is the right interest rate anyway? One thing is clear: Fed Chair Jerome Powell really wants to stick the landing. This article, written by renowned Wall Street Journal journalist Nick Rouse, is one of the most insightful pieces circulating on Wall Street today. The article has generated widespread attention and discussion, as it delves into the Fed's recent decision to cut rates by 50 basis points and speculates on what the Fed might do next. Yesterday, we shared reactions from the market to the 50 basis point cut, which were largely emotional. It will take a few days for a more rational understanding of the decision's impact on the capital markets to emerge. Already, today's market trajectory is quite different from yesterday's, and further changes are likely. In my opinion, it could take around 4 or 5 days for the market to fully digest this significant move. Nick Rouse's piece serves as a dialogue between the Fed and the market. Historically, greater transparency and understanding between the two have helped reduce unnecessary market volatility. Investors crave certainty, and this article helps shed light on the Fed's current thinking. It notes that Fed Chair Jerome Powell's bold move to cut rates by half a percentage point marks a new phase in his efforts to guide the economy toward a soft landing. However, it also raises difficult questions for the Fed, such as what the ultimate interest rate target should be and how quickly the Fed should move toward that goal. Even though the Fed slashed rates by 50 basis points, interest rates in the US are still relatively high. With inflation nearing the Fed's 2% target, the market is now asking, what is the Fed's long-term interest rate goal? Wall Street investors are notoriously insatiable. They pushed for a 50 basis point cut after initially expecting 25 basis points, and now some are already pressing for even larger rate cuts. The article further highlights that the Fed is still uncertain about two major points: the magnitude of future rate cuts and what would constitute a neutral rate that neither stimulates nor restrains economic growth. Before the pandemic, most Fed officials believed that this neutral rate had fallen to 2.5% or lower. Now, many believe it has risen due to factors like rising government deficits and increased demand for investment. Powell described the latest rate cut as an effort to bring policy back toward a more neutral level over time. This rate cut brings the federal funds rate down to a range of 4.75% to 5%. While Powell usually avoids making specific statements, on Wednesday, he acknowledged that the neutral rate may now be significantly higher than it was pre-pandemic. This is critical information, as global markets have been pressing the Fed for clarity on this issue. Although Powell doesn't know exactly where the neutral rate stands, he does believe it's higher than before. This insight alone has provided some answers to the questions surrounding future rate policy. The article also discusses the unknowns about how quickly the Fed will move toward its neutral rate. Powell cautioned investors against assuming that the recent 50 basis point cut is the preset path for the Fed's next meeting in November. The Fed does not feel rushed to make such moves, signaling that a 25 basis point cut is more likely for November. This is another important takeaway from the article: the Fed's decision between a 25 and 50 basis point cut before this meeting was highly unpredictable, reflecting the ongoing economic uncertainty. The Fed will review 2 more months of labor market data before its November meeting, which could influence future decisions. The article quotes the chief economist at hedge fund Point72, who expressed dissatisfaction with the Fed's communication, noting that the June projections never hinted at a 50 basis point cut. Many on Wall Street were caught off guard by the size of the cut, contributing to yesterday's initial market confusion. Investors wondered whether the economy was in worse shape than they realized. By this morning, some Fed officials were offering reassurances about the economic outlook, calming some concerns. Despite ongoing communication between the Fed and Wall Street, there is still disagreement over forward guidance. On Wednesday, Powell sought to strike a balance between expressing concerns about the economy and sounding overly confident about the strength of the labor market. Powell noted that it's best to act while the labor market remains strong, rather than waiting until layoffs begin. While the article may seem straightforward to some, it contains crucial insights for investors, especially regarding the Fed's projections for the neutral rate and the likely size of the November rate cut. For those following the market closely, these forward-looking indicators are invaluable. The second important news story I want to share comes from Reuters, with the headline, "Spain denies complicity in Venezuela's González signing letter accepting Maduro victory." After reading this, I couldn't help but feel frustrated. Frankly, we've all been misled. As I previously shared, Venezuela's opposition presidential candidate, 75-year-old diplomat Fernando González, had taken refuge in the Spanish embassy in Venezuela after the anti-government protests were violently suppressed. Not long ago, González fled to Spain, and at the time, it seemed like he was forced into exile. I even wished him safety and good health. But today's news really takes a different turn. Venezuela's National Assembly president presented a signed document and a series of photos that show González signing a declaration acknowledging Nicolás Maduro's victory in the election. The signing ceremony included not only González, but also the Spanish ambassador to Venezuela and Maduro's vice president. This was a highly official, seemingly peaceful event, happening just as Spain announced González's exile. What's even more surprising is that, despite all this, González had previously told the media he was still committed to the struggle. Today's news has caused an uproar worldwide. It feels like a coordinated surrender. Opposition leaders flee to Spain to enjoy a comfortable life, leaving the international community feeling deceived and humiliated. Meanwhile, those who continue to resist in Venezuela are left in a painfully awkward position. One of Maduro's main challengers has now surrendered. While surrender itself may not be shameful, there could be all sorts of pressures behind it. Why hide it? Why act as though you're still fighting the good fight after you've already sought asylum in Spain? The Reuters report didn't directly criticize González, instead, it focused on Spain's defense of its actions. Spain's foreign ministry issued statements to the global media, claiming they had no involvement in González's surrender. But as the report notes, the photos released by Venezuela's National Assembly clearly show Spain's ambassador present at the signing. So it's hard not to question Spain's role in all of this. It seems they played a less than honorable part in González's surrender, essentially betraying Western interests. The European Union has officially refused to recognize Maduro's election victory and only acknowledges González as the legitimate winner. But Spain's actions, quite frankly, have left Western allies feeling embarrassed and blindsided. International politics can be dramatic, but unfortunately, this drama often comes with a heavy dose of dishonesty. Next, it's the latest political drama surrounding New York Mayor Eric Adams. This story has dominated U.S. political news recently and is even drawing attention from European media. We're referencing a report from The Economist, titled, "Eric Adams's Friends Keep Having Their Phones Taken Away," with the subheadline, "It can be hard to keep track of all the people around New York's mayor who are under investigation." The media coverage in the U.S. has been even more direct. Over the last 2 years, New York Mayor Eric Adams has been under an FBI corruption probe. What's caught everyone's attention is that several of his close aides have also found themselves under investigation, one after another, with their homes being raided and phones seized. It appears the net is tightening in this corruption case, and if Mayor Adams were to be arrested or convicted, it would mark a significant political event in the U.S. According to the report, Mayor Adams often talks about his passion for his job and his dedication to serving New Yorkers. He frequently reminds the public of the goal to stay focused and fight for the city's residents. However, distractions keep piling up. The list of people under federal investigation includes 2 deputy mayors, a school superintendent, and a former NYPD commissioner who resigned on September 12. Federal agencies involved in the investigation include the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the IRS. Even the city's own Department of Investigation has been busy, though no charges have been filed yet, and no one has been formally accused of any wrongdoing. Still, with federal agents raiding homes and confiscating the phones of top officials, questions about Adams' management team continue to mount. Investigators seized the phones of 3 brothers who are close to the mayor. Superintendent David Banks, who shares a home with his fiancée, First Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright, also had his phone taken. In a separate probe, former NYPD Commissioner Carlos Cabrera stepped down just a week after federal agents seized his phone. The investigation reportedly involves his brother James, who runs a consulting firm. Both brothers have denied any misconduct. Another close aide to the mayor, Timothy Pearson, had his phone seized this month as part of the ongoing investigation. Even Mayor Adams himself had his phone taken by federal agents in November 2023. When the NYPD commissioner resigned, Mayor Adams told the New York Times on September 12 that he, too, was taken aback by the investigations. He added, "I've worked in law enforcement for over 20 years, and every member of my administration understands my expectations about following the law." Most major U.S. media outlets have echoed similar reports. Many find it strange that so many of the mayor's associates are being investigated, yet Adams himself appears calm and hasn't offered much defense. This has led to widespread speculation that something big is about to unfold in New York. For those following this channel, this is a situation worth keeping an eye on. Mayor Adams is known for being relatively pro-China, and his handling of Taiwan has raised eyebrows. When Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen made a stop in New York, Adams was initially scheduled to attend an event with her, only to back out at the last minute. In the future, once the facts of this case come to light, it will be important to investigate whether Adams has any ties with the Chinese government or if he's been acting on its behalf. That could become a key part of understanding the full scope of this unfolding drama. Fourth major news update: India's ammunition ends up in Ukraine, angering Russia. According to a recent Reuters report, titled Exclusive, Ammunition from India Enters Ukraine, Raising Russian Ire. As we know, Russia has been desperately seeking support, buying low-quality munitions from North Korea and acquiring weapons from Iran. However, the revelation that its longtime ally India has indirectly supplied ammunition to Ukraine has caused significant frustration. The report reveals that Indian-made artillery shells have been used by Ukrainian troops who often face ammunition shortages after being routed through European buyers. This exclusive news was based on information from 11 defense officials across India and Europe. Reuters published the report on Thursday, September 19, citing sources who explained that despite Russia's protests, the Indian government did not intervene or stop European buyers from transferring Indian ammunition to Ukraine. Additionally, India's public customs data confirmed these transactions. 3 Indian officials confirmed to Reuters that the Kremlin raised the issue with India on at least 2 occasions, including during a July meeting between Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Indian Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar, where Moscow formally lodged its complaints. This situation highlights an interesting aspect of India's stance. India's neutrality in the Ukraine conflict is quite different from China's. While India and Russia share a long-standing relationship, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has maintained a cautious approach regarding the Ukraine war. He hasn't openly opposed Russia but has consistently supported Ukraine's territorial integrity. On the other hand, China's neutrality is far more ambiguous, as it continues to align itself with Russia. In my view, this news further isolates China and strengthens the argument that China is complicit in supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It also shows how global alliances are shifting in the face of geopolitical tensions. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.